So hi, let's continue the tutorial for Java web application development. And in this is 10 tutorial, I guess. And if you are following the complete series from the start, then you should continue this, or I will suggest to you to watch the previous videos from the series, so it will be easy to understand the context. So data utility class, and this we are going to cover the data utility. So it is also a custom class that created by us. So if we before start the complete development and database connectivity and the transactions, we need to understand this class as well. So what is data utility and why we create it? So data utility is class that going to help us to check or convert some data with some data conversions, like sometime user going to register in the application is going to enter some value. For example, for take an example of a calculator. So if a user going to enter some value as in an input field as a decimal or in some integer, and then we have to convert the data into some other part, uh, other data type, then just need to convert the data. So to conversion, we have created the separate class and that will be responsible for all the conversion transaction. If you can see, there is a method in this class is called get string data. So what this method is doing here, it will take an object as a string, as a object as an input, and going to convert it into the single string and going to send it. So similarly get integer, so it's going to take a string as a value and convert that string into the integer and return as a integer value. For example, you can say data validator is integer. So at the very first step, we call the is integer method from the data validator class. So this is the class that we have discussed in the last video already. So it's in the first step, it's going to validate. So if this condition is going to true, then it's going to pass the string value into the integer here. Same, the next method will be the get long. So let's create a class, then discuss about all the methods. So again, this is another my utility class. So I'm going to keep it under my utility package. So just right click and create a new class. The class name will be data utility, and click on finish. So here we have a simple class as a data utility, and let's copy this code. So I'm going to copy the same code and let's discuss all the methods one by one. So it will be easy and save our time. So you can see some error there. So we need to import some package. So just right click, just click on this red icon and import this package. And another, we have to import the data class from the util package, and the next thing timestamp also we can take the util package. Actually the timestamp will be come from not security package, it will come from the util package. So if I'm gonna enter the star here, remove that. Let's check the package name in the class. So should be sql.timestamp and data utility. Okay, so I'm going to import these packages. So it's going to remove my error. Okay, so now error is gone, and let's understand what is this code says. So if you can see, it's public static final string a variable name update format. So in the application, at many places we need to use the dates. So there should be a fixed date format that's going to validate the date. So in the entire project, we are going to use this format, the DD, and YYY. It means the month. So for example, July, and so for example, it's a 07, and day is I think 15 and 2020. So this will be date format for the entire project. So whenever I need to validate the format, I will call this. Or sorry, whenever I need to pass a specific format for a date, so I will call this. Next here, the formatter, you can see we create an object of simple date format and pass our format here. So we can directly call this format. Now we have next method as a get string, that going to take a string as a input, and will check the string is not null or not. So we are going to create a data utility dot is null is not null. So we are indirectly calling this method from here. It should be there in somewhere. So it's not null here. So we are calling this method and pass a value as a string, and it will validate the data and is null or not, and then we'll trim the value and send it to you. So it's something like it's take a string value, and we'll check the complete all two parameters. Like the first parameter will be is not null, and then trim the value. So trim means it's going to remove the spaces from the before or after the string, right? So we have next method is going to get a string data. So it's going to take an input as an object and convert the Java object and to a string and send it to you. So and return a string. And get int, so get int is something called conversion. So it's going to take an input as a string value and parse that string value into the integer and going to return an integer value. Same get long, so it's going to convert a string to long. So you can comment it like string to long here, and here you can see a string to int. If you're gonna see this, comment it out here like converts a string into integer, and the comment here also convert a string into long. So you can see the converts a string into date. For example, I want to convert a string value into date. So here we have a class, we have a method date get date. So it will take a string, and you can see the formatter that we decided at the top. So the formatter here. So we call that formatter dot parse and pass the value. So it will return a date. Okay. And get date string, so it's going to take an input as a date and convert the date into the string and will return a string. Get date as a date is going to take a date and day as an input and get the date. So similarly, there are lots of these are the methods that's going to help the conversion. So these all kind of methods will help us to convert and validate the data on an entire project. So these two methods are very these two classes are very important for to use the entire project. So these are the utility. Why we keep this under the util package? So utility is something like that we can use reuse the same code again and again. So so we define the multiple methods here. So this method we are going to reuse these methods many times in the entire project. So when we are going to work on the simple and the real-time scenario, then you will understand the use of this. For now, just create classes and keep this code and understand the core logic of behind these methods while we are writing these methods here. So now we can comment it out. Like if you remember in the last video, I have comment some code. So just I'm going to recommenting this code, and this time I'm going to import the date package. Also you can see now the data utility the error is gone because we have data utility now. So now we can validate the date as well. Okay. So we have done with data utility and the data validator, and just for the util package, two most important two things remaining. Just one will be I guess servlet utility, and the next one will be our data source. Then we are ready to move for the registration and the communication with the database. For the database also we are going to use the JTVC data source, and it's going to be very interesting for the next some 3 or 4 video. And so for now, it's enough for this. So thank you for watching this, and let's continue. Stay tuned for the next video and next tutorial. And thank you.